Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Yeah, plan was 6 miles, ended up doing extra 2 miles, the total full 8-mile run, and I felt it. I felt it today. Didn't have too many meals yesterday. Didn't eat as much as I should have if I was gonna do that level of mileage. So it got the best of me, but I did get the goal. You know, there have been times been on this show, on these very Move Swiftly thoughts in which I admit to you that I didn't hit the goal, but I explained to you why it's important to document those things as well. But today was a day of accomplishment, because not only did I hit the goal, I exceeded the goal. The goal was 6, got to 8 miles, and got me through it was actually today's Move Swiftly thought, was actually the opportunity that I have, you have, every single person listening to me right now, every person who's not listening to me has. And that is to take advantage of the year you were born, all right? Take advantage of when you were born. I mean, I recording this, but April 22nd, 2024, I was born January 8th, 1989. My 90's baby, all right? My 90's baby. And the podcast that you may or may not be listening to this show on, the #1 podcast. You go on your podcast app right now, wherever you listen to your podcast, and you type in Innovative Teamwork. The first podcast that continues to show up day in and day out is the Move Swiftly podcast by yours truly. That podcast is a couple hours away from hitting 700 episodes. All right, 700 episodes. Understand, most podcasts don't last for 15 episodes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stop calling it a podcast and start calling it a platform for innovative teamwork. We've officially breached the podcast limit, and now I can officially tell you I have a platform. And when you talk about platforms, that's when the big investors start coming. The recreational activity is officially over. Now it's time to get down to business, and we're gonna make sure the platform is intact, because the platform, when you're building a platform, it's not just about the things you want, it's about what your clients want, what your customers want, what the people who genuinely believe in you want. Because it's not about you no more, it's about building a platform. In fact, just on this run, what got me through it, actually, I believe it was like a crow or a raven that tapped me on the shoulder, had me thinking about 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄e, the late Coach Art, you know, my grandmothers and my grandfather, a lot of people that I've seen pass away. My good friend Ron, his wife, Miss Raquel, you know, I do it for them. Granny Nina, Mommy Audrey, all of them. I do it for them because I know my platform is gonna be here long after I'm not. The platform, and having the opportunity to be a 90's baby, there's some benefits, and I'm gonna talk to you guys today about them. So before I officially get into it, I wanna take you back to a quote in which I heard the great Oprah Winfrey say. She said, I read this in a magazine article in which I think she was being interviewed, or she was interviewing someone. Yeah, she was actually interviewing someone, and she asked the person, do you think you're better than somebody else? Or the person interpreted the question as if she was asking if she was better or they were better than somebody else, and they were hesitant to answer. And Oprah said, no, I'm not saying you shouldn't be ashamed. She basically said, you shouldn't be ashamed to say you're better than somebody else. She followed it up by saying, look, there were different energies and there were different things going on in the world that allowed you to be different from the people that came before you. So it's not that you're necessarily better, just different. And if you want to call it better, fine. Don't be hesitant to say that, because again, you as a younger person who's listening to me, is a new, improved vehicle. All right, you're always something new that's going to make life a little more efficient for you. All right, so seeing that today, again, sort of a celebratory thing in regards to the Move Swiftly podcast. Again, we're going to a platform now. Got to tell you the benefits that I had given to me. Number one, I grew up in a world when I was a kid that went from VHS tapes to DVDs to now nothing. None of those things are sold anymore. DVD players, VHS tapes, none of that shit is actually sold, and everything is streamed through this very device that you have. Which means when I caught the bug, interest in developing as a public speaker and developing my own radio show or podcast or whatever it is you want to call it, instead of me having to go through a job and, work as an intern with this radio show and then try to get on there and then maybe go here and then this show might make the list or might make the countdown, the time slots that I wanted or whatever, instead of going through all that, all I had to do was simply hit the record button, hit this red record button on this camera, and I could share my voice to the entire world. And as long as you got something to say, as long as you got something valuable to share, there's somebody that's willing to listen. It's the main benefit, the biggest benefit, all right? Now, the reason it's so beneficial is because I saw the change. I happen to be in a world in which I saw the change. So even though the difference, well, again, we'll talk about the difference. The difference between now between being an 80s baby versus, let's say, someone who was born in 2010, they don't understand that even though we have access and we have all this ability to get in touch with people, there's still going to be a need of structure. So there's an element to me, again, being 35-year-old man now in my mid-30s, in which I can take a little bit of what is going on in the new school and I could apply it to some of the benefits and the things that were going on in the old school when we had VHS tapes and DVDs and, we had to, actually create structure and, there had to be hierarchy in regards to how we put out our information and who gets on the air, who gets seen and who gets talked about, what advertisements get spun, all that kind of stuff. And these are the things that you have to look at when you're trying to figure out what it is you're going to do. When you're finding your place, when you're in that role, you're looking for your role and you're in it. You're like, man, it's my time. The world's getting on my shoulders. I'm quote unquote adulting. Lean in to the things that are beneficial, are going to allow you to share your voice with the world, and also learn from the folks who have done it before, so you can create an excellent mix of the new school and the old school and apply it, put it into like a mix or a bottle in which you say, all right, this is me, and that's how you create your lane, you create your space in this world. All right. Woo! All right, I'm about to go recover now. That was a tough one. All right, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.